Everyone's looking for the truth. Everyone wants to find the truth, right? Part of our pursuit in life. Show me the truth and I shall follow it. So here's an interesting question I want to pose to you. Is your pursuit of the truth a truthful pursuit? Because if your pursuit of the truth isn't truthful, are you going to find the truth? Let me tell you a story. This is a story I heard from my principal in yeshiva. And there was a man who was in pursuit of the truth, traveling the world to find the truth. He went here and there and everywhere to find the truth, but had not yet found it. And one day he was walking in the midst of a very big forest in pursuit of the truth. And suddenly in a distance he sees tremendous bright light coming from the middle of the forest. And he wonders what a strange sight in the middle of a forest to see this bright light coming from some clearing there in the middle of the forest. And so he follows the light until he gets to this clearing. And what does he see? In the middle of nowhere, he sees this building, maybe 4 stories tall. And tremendous amount of light is coming out of it. But he doesn't see any other movement otherwise or anything going on. And so he comes to the front door of this building and he knocks on the door and there's no answer. So he tries the knob and it opens. See, he walks inside. And as he walks inside, what does he see in this building? The strangest thing he ever saw. He sees rooms and rooms and rooms filled with tables and tables and tables. And on those tables are an endless number of lamps. Lamps. All of them filled with oil. Almost all of them lit. Some of them were filled with oil. Some of them were 2/3 filled. Some of them were almost empty. Every glass had a different amount of oil in it. And he's wondering what is going on in the middle of the forest with all of these lamps. And so he goes up to the 2nd floor and the 3rd, and all he sees is the same thing. Rooms, tables, lamps. When suddenly he hears some shuffling sound and he turns around and there he sees an elderly man shuffling, moving about. And he turns to the man and says, "Excuse me, sir." And the old man turns around and says, "Yes." He says, "You know, I was walking through the forest and I saw this building. I hope I'm not intruding, but what's going on over here?" And the man says, "Well, first let me ask you, what are you doing here?" And the gentleman says, "Well, I'm here because I'm in pursuit of the truth. I want to find the truth. I so desire to see the truth, to experience the truth. I've been traveling the world, and my encounter brought me here. But can you explain to me what this is all about?" And he says, "Sure, I will be happy to explain it to you. You see, in this building we have a representation of every human being's life. It's the glass, the oil, the flame. If a baby was just born and they have another 90 years ahead of them, their glass is pretty full. If someone's 70 years old, they have a short amount of time left, their glass is close to empty. And so every glass over here represents another person's life in this world. The few that are still, I have not cleaned up yet, that are out, are the glasses of people who have passed away." And so what do you think the gentleman's next question was? Exactly. That was his question. His question was, "Where's my glass?" And so the elderly gentleman said, "I would be happy to show you your glass." And he shuffles down to the 2nd floor and he takes him to the 4th room. And on the 3rd table, there he shows him, in the middle of the table, a glass. And the gentleman looks at the glass. And what does he see? He sees a glass that's about 1/3 full. 1/3 full. He can use a few more years than that. He's not that old, but it's only 1/3 full. And so the gentleman thinks quickly, and he waits for the moment when the elderly man shuffles around to take care of some business. And he quickly goes to a glass that is full, brimming full, a baby that was probably just born that has 100 years ahead of him. And he says, "Let me just pour a little bit, just a little bit into my glass." And just as he's about to do that, the elderly man turns around and he says to him, "And you're the man who is seeking the truth?" And so you see, sometimes our pursuit of truth itself isn't truthful. After all, is it possible for a human being to be objective, completely objective? After all, I am I, and I am always going to be in some way, in some small, minuscule way, if not greater than that, subjective, always influenced by myself. And so, we have to consider that when we are pursuing the truth, sometimes the very pursuit is a dishonest pursuit. And this is the reason why we find ourselves sometimes not looking for the answer. We find ourselves looking for the answer that we are looking for. And that's when we know we are not pursuing the truth. And so let's always remember, there's always my subjectivity involved in my pursuit.